Now we're talking to absent fathers. Unfortunately, none of them have turned up, but we're putting love out to them and keeping it there.
Yes!
We'll be back after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're very kind. Thank you and welcome to the Man From Auntie. Now, statistics this week suggest that whether justified or not, people's #1 fear these days is crime. Well, don't you worry, ladies and gentlemen, because apparently there's no need to be scared anymore. The Home Secretary has got it sorted. He's going to get tough on crime. He's putting his criminal justice bill through Parliament and he says the first thing we've got to do is stick these bastards in prison. Well, no, I think not, Mr. Howard. I think the first thing you've got to do is catch these bastards. I'm being old-fashioned. Another brilliant idea to make our streets safer is to be the publication of comparative league tables of police performance comparing one force against another. That's nice, isn't it? They can have them on Sky Sport after the football, can't they? A Metropolitan Police, caught none. West Midlands Serious Crime Squad, caught plenty. All arrests are later disallowed. Writing satire, ladies and gentlemen. Bit of politics, love it. Well, the police have been keeping their own league tables for years, haven't they? Guildford 4, Birmingham 6. What can be the possible point of league tables of police performance? I mean, what's the idea? If you happen to live somewhere where the police are deemed to be crap and you get mugged, what are you supposed to do, eh? Call another part of the country, is this it? Hello? Devon and Cornwall? Yes, I'm on the Kilburn High Road. I've had my head kicked in. I hear you're very good. Who can possibly benefit from league tables of police performance, ladies and gentlemen? Only one group of citizens can. The criminals. They'll love it, won't they? Every Saturday, open the paper, study the form. Here, Bugsy, the Home Secretary says Berkshire Police are crap. Warm up the motor. Good evening. Tonight, we consider a problem that is affecting more and more women nationwide. It's an addiction, it's a compulsion, it's a tragedy. The problem is tampon dependency. And the chances are, if you're not a sufferer yourself, then you will know someone who is.
Normally I feel dull, unattractive, you know. I don't have much confidence. When it all gets too much, I do turn to Tampax. I admit that. And lately I've been doing it more and more. More alive, more free. After I've shoved one up, it's like a natural high.
Jane's story is by no means uncommon. Depressed by the mundane reality of their lives, more and more young women are turning to those dubious thrills to be found in the artificial world of the tampon ad. So, Dr. Kilroy, is it dangerous?
Of course it's dangerous. These women are hiding from reality. They are taking refuge in an unreal world.
It's a fair point. Would you want to speak?
Why should I have to wait until my period to play great tennis and rollerblade?
Oh, yeah. Now, you wanted to say something. You're a member of Tampaholics Anonymous, is that right?
Yes, that's right. And let me tell you, it sounds like fun. But I got given the sack because I kept jumping into fountains instead of going to work.
You see, we're not going to be able to solve this one tonight. It's a controversy that will run and run. So we're going to have to leave it there, and it only remains for me to say thank you and good night. Now, ladies and gentlemen, tonight's show has a theme, a little bit of a new departure for us, and the theme is the cover-up job. The distance between the message and the reality. The garnish, that's a good way of putting it. The garnish. Garnish is the only growth industry in Britain today. It was the food industry that first discovered the garnish trick. The fact that you can get away with any old crap you like as long as you stick a sprig of parsley on it. Every time you eat out, it's garnished. All over the A roads of Britain, in little shits and happy vomiters, they're garnishing away, sticking cream in the soup, nuts on the ice cream. The 12-year-old hormone casualty who brings it you's been lightly dusted with a garnish of acne. You can't escape garnish anymore. You go in a basic greasy spoon cafe, you ask for a plate of egg and bacon, you get your egg and bacon, and some chef has taken the unilateral decision to stick a few alfalfa sprouts and a couple of wedges of orange on the side of your plate. I say I don't want orange with my bacon. It doesn't go. He says it's not supposed to go, is it? It's garnish, isn't it? It looks nice. Well, what's that got to do with anything? I think the Nolan sisters look nice. I don't want one with me egg and bacon, do I? Well, actually, I haven't really thought that one through, actually. No, hang on. I don't want to divide the audience on lines of sex or gender or musical taste. So let's go with an image we can all relate to. I mean, I'm quite sure that everybody watching today and everybody in the studio has, in the last couple of days, maybe in the last couple of hours, produced a poo of which they are justly proud. You can't deny it. You've glanced back into the water and thought, now that is too beautiful to kill. Yes, you have. You thought, I am an anal sculptor. I can scarcely bear to flush it. Yes, you have. It looks lovely, doesn't it? But you wouldn't want to have it next to your lasagna now, would you? I mean, garnishing is just marketing. I mean, giving the semblance of choice and variety in order to sell more product. I mean, take, for example, the boom product of the 80s, the biggest growth industry of the lot. Condoms. Now, was there ever a more garnished product than that? Because we're all supposed to be condom cool these days, aren't we? Yeah? Ever since AIDS, we're all terribly relaxed about condoms, yes? Barbers no longer say, something for the weekend, sir. No, they say, are you thinking of having a shag this weekend? Oh, yes, we're all completely relaxed about condoms, and so the marketers and the garnishers have seen a classic opportunity to make money. So now you can get any type of rubber johnny you want. Shaped ones, bobbly ones, ribbed ones, smelly ones, whiffy ones, tasty ones, singing ones. But the truth is that they work against our better interests. Because no matter how much we all pretend that we're relaxed and condom cool, it's still bloody embarrassing if you've actually got to buy one. And what people really want is a darkened corner at a chemist with a big basket full of bog standard packs of 3. You can run in, grab one, there you are, keep the change and sod off out. I mean, you don't want to have to make a choice, do you? You don't want to have to go browsing in the rubber johnny section. When was the last time you saw someone actually making a considered decision down at Boots, going, what do you think? Is it me? You got a mirror? Can I don't know. I reckon I'm going to have to try a couple on. I'll see you in a minute. Did you ever do that? No. Did you ever shout across Boots, darling, I thought peppermint flavour. Will it go with the wine we're having? No, you never did that, and nor did anyone else. Down at the Boots, a family planning section. Actually, that's what they call the rubber johnny section at Boots. The family planning section. What kind of language is that? It's linguistic garnish. Prissying something up because we can't face the truth about it. I mean, no wonder young people are confused. Some first-year student, he's down the family planning section, he doesn't know what to think. He says, excuse me, I think I'm in the wrong place. Have you got a quick shag planning section? I'm not really interested in starting a family. I was just hoping to lose my cherry sometime in the next 100 years. Those are surely the people who tend to buy condoms, nervous teenagers. Not relatively sophisticated grown-ups, as I presume we think we are, you know, but to some kid, the most important night of his life, he's going to get a shag. The object of his lust and affections has promised. He says, well, I might let you do it to me, but you've got to act responsibly. He says, if you'll let me shag you, I'll redecorate the house, I don't care what. So he's off down Boots. He gets in there down at Boots. He nearly loses his nerve. There's a woman behind the counter. How can they do that? A woman on a rubber johnny's counter. It's not fair. He spends half an hour intently reading a shampoo bottle, hoping she'll go away. He thinks, I can't handle this. I'm going back to handling myself. But finally, he gets the courage up. He goes up to the counter, and there's all this choice. All these different... He doesn't know which one he wants. I mean, he can't exactly say to the girl, which one do you recommend? No, so he just grabs any old one. He doesn't care. He's off home. That night, the most important night of his life, he's going to get a shag. And the object of his affection is rolling round on the carpet, laughing at him, because he's got this elephant on the end of his dick. She says, what are you doing? He says, I am trying to act responsibly. He's called Jumbo. I thought they meant the size. She says, blimey, do all boys smell like that? He says, it happens to be a Kentucky Fried Chicken flavoured condom. The truth is, nobody wants all those novelty Johnnies. I mean, if they actually wanted to give people a choice in their marketing, if they cared about that, then I'm sure there's lots of types of condom they could market. For instance, well, here's an idea. It's just a thought. See what you think. What do you reckon if they were to market a condom that had a splint in it? A bit of a nervous laugh on that, wasn't it? The lad's a bit concerned. I don't know what you're talking about, Bernard. John the Prong, me, yeah, we're been to Yorkshire Yard, us, eh?
Sexual harassment? Rubbish! Blimey, if some bird shouted at me in the street that I had a lovely bum and she wanted to stick her head up it, I'd be flattered! I'd be made up! What happened to common sense? What mugs we are!
Everything gets garnished. I mean, forgive my bitterness, but I've just finished a very long tour, and while I was touring, I lived in a garnished world. Staying in hotels. Now, hotels are the most garnished environments on earth. They're constantly trying to come up with little ideas to make your stay more comfortable. Here's an idea you might like to try it at home. Maybe make your guests feel more at home, their stay more comfortable. What they do is, you see, they get a maid in the bathroom. What they do is they get her to fold the end of the bog roll into a little point. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that a lovely sort of welcoming gesture? It really beckons you in for a poo, doesn't it? It really makes you feel like getting your kecks off. But the thing is, I sort of feel guilty about spoiling the display. You know what I mean? I think that some poor 16-year-old wage slave on tuppence a year has created this toilet paper sculpture for me, and I'm just going to rip it off and wipe my butt with it. I can't do that. I can't. I end up using the shower curtain. I'm sorry. It's counterproductive. Why does everything have to be added to, designed, garnished? I mean, why stop with a little point of toilet paper? Why not bring in an origami expert to create a great tableau of flying swans on the end of a bog roll? It's a lovely touch, isn't it? Now, another idea, garnished in hotels, what they do is, in the evening, while you're out, they get the maid to sneak in, you see, and fold back the sheet of the bed, you see, and what do? They put a little chocky. A little chocky free on the pillow. Now, you may think, what's wrong with that, eh, Ben? Nice free chocky, what's your problem? Free chocky, you lefties, you can't appreciate nothing, can you? You don't run the country, free chocky moaning about that. But think about it, ladies and gentlemen, OK? Like, you're out for the evening working. In my case, when I'm on tour, I'm working in the evenings. After the show, you know, I have a few beers, maybe a curry, get back to the hotel room, little bit sorted, you know, wee in the bidet by mistake, you know. Just about get it together to brush my teeth, stagger into the bedroom. Oh, no, I forgot the chocky. You see, I don't want it, you know. I've got a gut full of curry and I've just brushed my teeth. But it's a weird thing, you see, because it's like, it's there. And it's a chocky. And it's free. It's a kind of desperate combination. I'm thinking, no, I'm not going to eat it. I will not fall for this one. I don't want it. I'm going to just pick it up. I'm going to carry it across the room, stick it on the tea tray. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just about... Oh, no, I've eaten it. It just sort of beams its way in there, doesn't it? Except sometimes I don't notice the chocky. I don't notice it because... You know that feeling? Anyone know that feeling? I'm sure you do. When you don't so much nod off as pass out. Well, that happens to me quite a bit. What happens is, you see, I pass out, I don't notice the chocky. I forget about it. It all melts all over my face and it melts on the pillow, all over the pillow and my face, all melted chocolate and melted cream. And I'll tell you what, it's a bugger trying to persuade the maid that's what it is in the morning. Now, another thing they do in hotels, another of the little luxury innovations that have started appearing in hotels, let me show you. The public whirly spa bath. In hotels, they love them. Public spa baths must be the most repulsive invention of the 80s. Think about it. What's the first thing you do if ever you've got into one? I'll tell you. You sit on a jet. Of course you do. That's what the jets are for. You find one and you get it up there. Everyone's entitled to a little pleasure in life, aren't they? Well, it's no different than leaning against the washing machine when it's on its final spin, is it, girl? That do a bit more washing, love. You sit on a jet, of course you do. Have yourself a gentle little enema. Well, so does everybody else. And it's the same water. They recycle it. It goes round and round. Of course they do. They couldn't possibly heat enough water, otherwise it goes round and round, up and down. Anything that's been up you has been up everybody else in the hotel. Everyone sitting together in water, the temperature of a salmonella culture, seeping and farting and fiddling away. I've seen it. Enormous businessmen on conferences. They sit there for hours. They're having a lovely time. And when they get out again, they're half the size. All wrinkled and cool-like. Where's the rest of them gone? It's still in the whirly spa, that's where. And when you get in, it'll be up you. It's disgusting, sitting there, marinating in a soup of other people's fat and pubic hairs.
If your lot are anything like my lot, you'll never know what they're up to or when they'll want to eat.
Be that late, Mum, and I'll be shit-faced out my bonds.
But she'll be glad of something warm to come home to if she spends all night in a police cell.
Mum, I need 20 quid to get pissed and do a curry.
Oh, but I've just made a lovely stock cube casserole.
All right, I'll mug a granny then.
Casserole you do, it's crap. What's more, you've gone all saggy. I'm leaving you for a more shaggable bird. And if you try and get a penny out of me for you and the kids, every male MP in the House of Commons, plus all the newspaper editors that are cheating on their wives, will start a huge campaign about women victimising men.
Men. He's right. It does taste a bit crap.
Stock cubes. Taste the way they always did. A bit crap.
Now, I was talking earlier about having a drink after work. Now, I was not trying to encourage drinking in any way, so don't write in, OK? Although, actually, I think we're all encouraged to drink all our lives. It's like I say, we use our language to garnish our lives, making ourselves sound more interesting than we are. I mean, you're talking about some sad old drunk, and you say, he's a good, honest drinker. He's all right, he can handle his pint. Never trust a man who doesn't drink. I mean, what a lot of rubbish. Other hallucinogenic drugs are not afforded the same linguistic indulgence, are they? He's a good, honest heroin addict. No, you don't hear that. Never trust a man who doesn't take smack. Don't mind Grandad leaping off the wardrobe. He always has a small hallucinogenic after his supper. Settles the stomach, doesn't it? No harm, eh? Now, look, the language of hard drugs is surely even more insidious. I mean, we all know that if kids take drugs, they're in trouble. But if you read your rock press, your Vox, or your NME, you might think that taking drugs was the grooviest, most intellectual thing you could do. I mean, they talk about some poxy pop star taking drugs. They say, it was at this stage in his career that he began experimenting with drugs. Experimenting? What an admirable and brave-sounding activity. Oh, yes. He wasn't by any chance thinking, blimey, I've made a load of money. I think I'll get out of my head. No. No, he was experimenting when he was rolling around on the carpet all night, giggling and eating Mars bars. Yeah. That was an experiment. Well, I'm going to claim the same linguistic indulgence for my drug of choice. Yes, I am, ladies and gentlemen. I am announcing on national telly tonight that for the last 15 years, I have been experimenting with lager. I am a lager user, man. They could write a groovy article about me, couldn't they? They could make me seem more interesting than I actually am. They could say it was in the middle 70s that Ben entered the shadowy other world of lager users. It's great, man. No. Free your head. It's really great, right? Because, like, if you do enough pints, right? Like, if you do enough pints, you end up with this dazzling display of colour and shape in front of your face. And unlike with other hallucinogenic visions, with lager, it's still there on the carpet in the morning. But believe me, I'm not being flippant about drugs. I know that soft drugs lead to hard drugs, like night follows day. One poison leads to a far worse poison. If you do lager, you will end up having a Kentucky Fried Chicken. At first you say, no way, man. That's for mugs. KFC is a mugs game. But it's your mates, innit? It's your mates. You do a few pints right, and they say, go on, just have the chips. I mean, fast food has to be the best example of marketing garnish there is. I mean, come on. I mean, in some of these places, and the photos of the food, I mean, do they actually bear any resemblance whatsoever to the crap you actually get in a box? I mean, come on, we should complain, we should take it up, wave it. What is this? What does this look like? Where did they cook this stuff? Sellafield? I mean, and what sort of animal, as a matter of interest? I mean, those chicken pieces have not come off any chicken a rooster would recognise. It looks like the offspring of a pigeon and a rat. I don't know if it's the pigeon that shags the rat or if it's the rat that shags the pigeon. But either way, they produce what we call a prat, which is what we are for eating this stuff.
Would you ever believe it? Did you see the BBC last night? Foreign rubbish, Lebanon, Georgia, Chancellor Cole. Ain't there any British news? Thank God for Sky. At least Kojak and the Brady Bunch aren't bleeding foreign. BBC, BB bollocks more like. And we're the mugs that have to pay for it. What mugs we are.
Now, marketing is garnish. Adverts are garnish. I mean, no more than the sprig of parsley on the lasagna. That's what adverts are. Rover cars, for instance. Consider their slogan, above all, it's a BMW. Blimey, they've sold our water, our gas, our council houses, now our last car maker. Have you ever heard the expression that they'd sell their own grandmother? I reckon there must be a few nervous old ladies hiding out in the hotels this week. But this latest sale has certainly put Rover's adverts into perspective. I remember last year's classic. Do you remember the classic slogan from last year? 80% of Rover cars are finished by hand. Now, that was a great ad. Do you remember it? Yeah. It started with an old boy. He's making a cricket bat. He's got a wise, craggy old face and sad, watery eyes. I reckon he was half-brother to that stupid git with the lawnmower on the Yellow Pages. Blimey, that bloke could do with a bit of self-assertion therapy, couldn't he? Oh, happy day, you bought me a lawnmower so I can continue to work myself to death in your garden. I reckon they get all those actors off the same agency in London. Hello, a sad old wankers? You're looking for an OAP to patronise, we'll get one on a train. Anyway, in the ad, the bloke, he's making a cricket bat, you see. Oh, he's playing in the wood and winding the twine. It's an image of British craftsmanship at its best, illustrating Rover's proud claim that 80% of their cars are finished by hand. Talk about linguistic garnish. 80% of what, do you think? They don't say, do they? 80% of the value of the car is finished by hand? I think not. I scarcely think they're going to let the old git with the cricket bat loose on the Japanese-designed fuel injection system. I think they mean 80% of the surface area of the car is finished by hand, i.e., they polish it. And that's Major's booming Britain. We don't make things, no, we finish them. They're made by machinery owned by multinational companies, and then some poor old git in Coventry gets to wipe it down with his oily rag. Garnish, ladies and gentlemen. All is marketing and garnish. Do you know what they call a closed coal mine? An enterprise zone. That's nice, isn't it? What a lovely thought. Makes everything seem okay, doesn't it? Last week, with tax going up and industries being flogged off all over the place, what was front page news? That silly teacher who wouldn't take the Romeo and Juliet tickets. Garnish, ladies and gentlemen. The government must have thanked God for that woman. Mind you, of course, any kids that do get to see the play are going to be a bit confused anyway. I mean, Romeo and Juliet were 13 and 14 years old. When did you last hear a 14-year-old giving it soft what light from yonder window breaks? Perhaps it's time to bring the bard up to date.
Romeo! Romeo! Hiya.
Hiya.
What are you doing round here then?
Don't know.
You know your mate Mercutio? Well, he told my mate something.
Oh, he's a white tosser.
He said that you wanted to get off with me.
Oh, yeah, sure. What am I supposed to do, really, yeah?
Like tights. I think they're dead good.
do you? Can I come up on your balcony then?
Oh, no, sorry, my dad would kill me.
See you then.
Everything is garnished. You cannot make a purchase without having advertising forced upon you. Take video trailers. I mean, the first time you get those trailers, right, it was actually quite fun. You rent a video, you get a couple of trailers at the beginning. You say, oh, don't fast forward through them. They're the best bit. But the marketers and the garnishers have spoiled even that simple pleasure. Because these days, you don't just get a couple of trailers for films you might possibly want to go and see. No, you get millions of trailers for films so piss poor you wouldn't go and see them if you'd had your brains removed. Crashing cars, clashing swords, crashing cars, endless trailers. They go on forever. Evolutionary theory suggests that the human race will adapt according to the demands of the changing environment. People sometimes think that one day we'll all be born with colossal brains whilst our limbs wither away. This is not true. We're actually all going to be born with colossal right-hand thumbs, which we'll need for fast-forwarding down through the long road of trailers towards oblivion. That's what lies in store for the human race. No utopian world, just millions of enormous stomachs sat on sofas digesting pizza while colossal thumbs fast forward into eternity. Listening to that bloke who does the voiceovers. It's always the same bloke they use him for every trailer. What's that about? Is there only one man in America who can read an auto cue? Is that it? He's always there every time. He says,
It was a time of heroes. It was a time of war. It was a time of war and heroes.
and he always uses exactly the same voice. I mean, that bloke is totally indiscriminate. He doesn't care what movie he's advertising. One minute he says,
he was a cop on the edge, ready to kill to get things his way. The next second it's Bambi was enjoying her first morning in the Magic Forest.
How does he get through his life, that bloke? Talking in that stupid voice, communicating as he does in a series of staccato non sequiturs. I mean, what's he do? Does he go in a shop?
It's a time for a packet of Bensons. I'm a guy who wants a pound of carrots.
Mind you, I must admit, that bloke with his endless trailers has achieved one thing I never would have thought possible. He's actually made us pleased to see Simon Bates. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks a lot. We'll be back next week. My name's Ben Elton. Good night.